Welcome to eTip. eTip is my creation. My name is Joseph Homer. The purpose of this package is to allow students really to learn or revise specific parts of English, language or literature, but it's basically a grammar skeleton allowing students to learn from Moodle or other sources. They can access this and learn new aspects of English. It can also be used on the smartboard for a tutor to introduce a new area. Okay, the way it's navigated is there's a bar here. The middle bar always brings you back to the center menu. That puts you forward a page. That sends you back to the previous page you were on. A little bit like a web browser. I also created this section here, which has different options. So you've got nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, pronouns, prepositions, conjunctions, and determiners, and advanced terms, which I'll talk about later. Think of this as a wheel. As we go to the centre there, as you click it, it spins round, and the different areas appear, and the students, or the tutor if they're introducing this on smartboard, can look at the basic definition of an area. And then there's one there. So that's more of an entry 3, entry 2 explanation, nouns and naming word, maybe entry 2. Here you've got a more advanced explanation explaining what a noun actually does. There's more information here. I've created an advanced explanation, splitting into abstract and concrete nouns, and I've even got a link off to a website which will explain about count and non-count nouns, or countable and uncountable nouns. The beauty of these links that link off from eTip is that there are little assessments as well. So you can see at the bottom here you've got some assessments that the students can do from beginner all the way up to intermediate, and they can keep that evidence that they've learned that area. And I've done this for every one of these areas. If I go back to the centre menu, back to nouns. Now at any point through nouns, if they press the brown button, they can see examples of nouns, or they can press the green button, which allows them to test their knowledge. Now if they get the question, there's 2 questions on each area usually. If they get the question wrong, they come to this page and are told to go back. If they get the question right, they get told they've got it right. And there's 2 of them that they can do on every area. Okay, so after nouns, there's verbs. Verbs is a huge area. The way I've broken it up is I've explained the basic function of a verb, again, elementary level, entry 2. Entry 3 level 1 would get that. If they wish to investigate auxiliary verbs, I've created another page explaining what auxiliary verbs do. Be, do, have. If they want more information on verbs, I've got another web link off to this website, which is ESL Desk, which explains what a verb is and then goes into much more detail, again with activities. So it's a very good platform to start them off on this area. There are examples of verbs again, and I've got some text with the examples in, and there's also 2 questions, and once again if they get the question right, they'll get an affirmation. If they get the question wrong, they get told they're wrong. And then back to here, back to verbs. You've got adjectives. Adjectives, again, simple and more in-depth explanation, and I'm not going to link onto each of these, but there are websites that, again, same type of website, they can learn more in much more detail at their own pace, and they can test themselves. But I've also made more examples, and I've also got my own test in case, well, maybe the internet's down, or maybe the students are doing this and they only have a short amount of time. We've got adverbs, again a simple explanation, more complicated explanation. It goes into depth on adverbs of frequency. There's even more information there on adverbs. This one's quite a good one. And I've varied the websites. ESL Desk is one of the ones I've used, but I've also got others. See adverbs there, it goes into a lot more information, which maybe level 1 would do. Pronouns, again more information, and just like every area, you've got your examples and you've got your test. Right. After pronouns, we've got prepositions. Again, I won't go into each area. you've got adjectives, and we've got prepositions. After prepositions, we've got conjunctions, and after conjunctions, you've got determiners. Again, the wheel can be, you can click the wheel from the top. It's better to click from the top than the bottom. Determiners is such a big area. In the examples, I actually split it up into what determiners are, and then again, there's some tests on that. But those are the 8 key areas. After this, and especially if the students are getting into reading or writing, we have similes, personification, metaphors, alliteration, assonance, and verb tenses. These areas again are set in the same way. Give some examples, some self-tests, but the idea of the advanced terms really is if the students wish to go into an area where they're doing a lot more reading and writing perhaps. Tenses explains more about past, present and future. It's such a big area. I broke it down into tenses, but again, each page has got a link off to a website which explains a bit more. This web page is actually very good. I like this one because it actually has all the tenses at the bottom of types of verbs. Verb tenses intro rather. It's got them all there. So you've got your perfect, your continuous, your past and your future. Okay, so you've got your example window here. If the students just want to look at some examples rather than going through it all again, they can do that. And you've got advanced examples as well. You also have your test menu, which gets you straight to the tests, even the verb tense tests. So when the students feel that they've done as much as they want to do, and again, they don't have to do every area, but once they've covered the basic 8 at least, they can test their knowledge. And I've got a text here where they can actually decide which bit goes where. There's a link to my Moodle if they've actually signed on to it, or it can be added to any other Moodle, which allows them to go through a Word document version of this. Again, they don't have to do metaphors, similes and such, but they can do the main 8. And there's also a link here which has a printable version which they can print out and underline in different colours or draw lines to that. The answers, of course, are here, which explains what is what. I have an online version so that they can do this version, which is quite good, where they take the area and if they get it wrong it flicks back, but if they get it right it goes there. There's more than one of these, there's several as you can see, and there's also an option if you go to the index of that which allows you to have a version where I believe you type it in so that they can have a go themselves, print that out and again collect evidence that they've tried this. So this is basically e-tip. I hope you found this useful, and I hope it will be a very useful resource either in the classroom as a platform to show an area of English, a grammatical area, or as a resource that students can then use to revise and improve an area that they need. Particularly, say, if a student isn't using verb tenses correct, or they need more help on conjunctions, they could go for a detailed explanation of conjunctions, which again would link them into there, and they could learn about compound complex conjunctions, compound complex sentences, of course, subordinate and coordinating conjunctions, which again I've explained a bit more in my examples. Okay, thank you for your time.